welcome to today's live. We're going to continue from last week's live session today, which the idea is hopefully we'll all be able to finish a basket by the end of this. All of this is made out of recycled materials, so it's just made out of newspaper, rolled around a skewer, as you would have seen last week during the thing. So since then I've made lots of them ready for today, so hopefully you'll all be prepared. So I've made, so these were the colours which I showed you last week, trying to show you how you can dye your straws into different colours. So that's the blue, red and yellow. I've got hay fever again, I'm sorry, I'm going to end up sneezing. Bless me. And then so I've got a bunch here ready to weave into the baskets. I would say on average it normally takes around about one newspaper to do it, but we'll see. And when you're painting your straws, don't use them when they're wet, because then they won't weave as easily. It's quite difficult. So wait until they're dry. Okay, so I wanted to go through the beginning bit of how to weave the basket again, just so that you can anybody else can kind of get a gist of how we're doing it. So, right, here I have got 8 of the newspaper straws which I made. Hopefully you've all got the hang of that now. And I've crossed them over. So as I said last week, and I have brought some pegs this time to make it a little bit easier to show you, you can peg these into place. Oh, who knew you could snap a peg? Right, you can peg these into place to make life a little bit easier. So it looks like this. Yeah. Then we push them all together. These pegs aren't very flexible. That's typical, isn't it? So we push these all together like so. And then you grab another one of your straws, fold this in half, doesn't have to be exact, don't worry too much. And then it's going to go round. I'll call these 4s at the moment, because there's 4 straws on each end, okay? So you wrap that round, I'll move this out of the way so you can see what I'm doing. Wrap that round like so, like that. And then, so with weaving, as always, it's always important to go under and over. That's the basic principle of the weaving. So now this one, which is on top, now goes under the next ones. So it goes round like a little right angle, and then the one which was under then goes over. If any of you are struggling with this base part of it, you can always use the base of a cereal box or something, and then attach, so draw a circle onto that and then attach your straws round the edge and then weave like I'll show you in a minute, so it'll make it a little bit easier. But once you get a hang of it, it's relatively easy. So the one which is now over goes round and under this one. Trying to keep it all very tight. Sometimes if you're struggling, 2 lots of people helps. And then this one, because it was under, now it's going to go over like so. So you should be able to get round once, I would say. So this one on top now goes under, this one goes over. So you end up looking like you've got something like this. Okay, so now your straw is getting a bit short, and I'll show you how to attach your next straw onto those. And if any of you comment, hopefully I should be able to see the comments this week. I was having issues last time, but if any of you comment with any problems, with attaching anything, let me know so I can try and help you at the same time. So one of the downsides to painting your straws is sometimes it ruins the sharpness of the edges. So you can snip them to make them a little bit easier to thread. So always snip careful and make a point like so. And do the same on your one here. Just make it a little bit easier. You don't have to. I'm just trying to make life a bit easier for you because it's all very new. Then they should slide inside each other, like so. That one seems a little bit loose, so I'm just going to put a bit of glue on here. As you can see, very precise. And if any little fingers are struggling with this, sellotape's absolutely fine, you won't be able to tell. Go. Do another one. There you go. Good morning, everybody. Oh, it's afternoon. Don't know why I'm saying good morning. Good afternoon. Hopefully, you've all got something to start with today. So that goes into that one. Sometimes you don't need glue, and I always try and do it without glue. Don't know why. I think it's just nice to know, but they might stay. Yes, that looks good. So now I've gone round once. It's the 4s in each one. I'm going to go round again with 4 in each one, and then I'll separate them like we did last week again. Right, so that one was over, so that one's under, and that one's now over. Go under. Be careful you don't poke anybody in the eye with the straws, because they do get quite long and fiddly when you first attach new ones. So I'm just going round again, going round 4 at a time, like so. So now, just have something that looks like this. So you've gone round twice. See, there's 2 lots round the 4 straws. So now, as I keep on calling them 4s, we're going to make them into 2s. Okay? Right. Hopefully, the comments will come through if you comment. I'm not sure. Don't know why I had problems with that last week. So now, there's 4s. So push those to the sides. And if they don't, I'll comment at the end of the video to help you. So I'm separating each 4 of these into 2s. So it should look like, it's quite big, isn't it, to show? So those were 4, so I've separated those into 2, 2, 2, 2, 2 and 2. Okay? And now it's the same principle again. Move my glue out of the way. So I'm going, but this time, rather than going round 4, I'm going to go round 2. So I'll finish that bit. So there's 2 round all of them. So under, over, under, over. So it begins to look like this just here. So under. Always stick to going under first, then over, or the other way around, whichever way works well for you, because it just gives a little bit of consistency within the basket and you get less holes. Something that I just learned out of making quite a few of these. Under, as I say, then always think under, over, under, over, under, over, and before it gets too short, again, we're going to attach the additional straws. I'll go through that again with you. Is that asking for a notification? No, we're okay. Right, so I'm going to, these ones are relatively sharp, so I don't think I need to snip these. I think they're fine. That one's a bit narrow to go in that in, so we'll put that one in. And concentration face, lots of those going on today. Sometimes they go further down, sometimes they don't, and it almost feels like it's going to snap when it gets to the right point. Give it a little tug to make sure that it feels like it's not going to go anywhere. And do the same on this one. And this one might need a snip. We'll see. Yeah. Sometimes they just don't like feeding into each other. So we're now at the same point where we finished last week. So I'm going round, going between the 2s, each one. But I haven't gone round twice yet, but we're going to go round twice. Right, so that's that one. And pop that one in. Come on, behave. Sometimes, if they're not cooperating, if you grab your straw like that, pinch it to make it like a point. I hope you can see that. And thread it in like that, just to give it a little bit of a nudge and say, come on, behave. There we go. Right, so where was I? So it goes, this one needs to go under, over. Try and grab the straws by the base rather than the tip. It gets a little bit of it looks like you're swimming or something. So and then I'm going to move those out of the way. Under, over, and I'm going round twice again. So under, over, like so. Under, over. So that's 1, 2. No, it still needs to go a bit further around. Under, over, under, over. How many times can you say under and over in one video, I wonder? Under, over, under, over, nearly there, under, over, under, over. So now when you count them, you can see we've gone round twice with the 4, 1, 2, and then twice with the separation. So now we're going to separate these again into individual ones. Sorry, I've got an itchy nose. Hay fever, and it's not even a nice day outside. So again, grab your end sticks and separate them. Like so. Move these out of the way, put them in my basket. The first 10 minutes has gone very quickly. Right. Now, so as before, rather than going around the 4 and the 2, we're going to go around these individually. So this one, under, this one, over, and again under, over. That one's the one I'm doing with. Under, over. Can you see? Right, this one. Under, over. You're almost folding it in to the, not the middle, but that way, away from you. Right, so over, under, over, right, that one's gone over, that one now needs to go under, and over. My fingers just clicked. Right, again, don't leave the shorts too short. The straws too short, not the shorts too short. And extend those just so it makes it a little bit easier, and be careful of your eyes. Should have put, what do you need on this workshop? A pair of goggles. Right. So again, they should squeeze in. If not, you can use glue. Get to that point and then it almost snaps. That's right. Right, so you don't want to just feed it onto just the end. It doesn't quite work. This one, as you can see, is a little bit jaggedy, so I'm going to cut the point off again at 45 degrees-ish, like so. Right, and do the same on this one. feed them into each other. They're a little bit too big. Squeeze and pinch like I showed you earlier, and that should work just fine, she says. It's always when you're trying to show somebody how to do something, it's always a little bit more difficult. Right, so let's try. Sometimes straws just don't like to cooperate and you have to just use a different one, but that seems like a tight fit to me. So the straw is probably going down to about there-ish. So that's where the old one ends, and that's where the new one starts. And it's unravelled a little bit here, so I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on that. Where's my glue gone? Just put a little bit of glue on there. Wrap that round. Again, you can use PVA, but I would say for when you're attaching the straws together, PVA glue can make them quite damp, so it might make it a little bit harder, so it might be worth leaving them to dry, but obviously that would take a lot more time. Pritt Stick's probably better for that, or just try and not use it at all. Right, so where was I? This one is going over, so now it needs to go under this one. Over, that needs to go under. And as you can see, believe it or not, it's quite easy now. So I'll make a similar sized bowl, because I think that's what we could probably make within this time, this kind of bowl. But obviously you can go bigger, you can go smaller, but it's quite sturdy. I can't ever show you other than shake it around. Right, so now that one goes, stop talking, Grace, and start making. Under and over, and then under, over, under. Oh no, that one's already gone under. That one is to go under. Under. The concentration, sorry. Over, under. Over, pulling them tight as you go, under, and then so the next point really is when you want to bring up the sides. So you can do something quite small if you would like. I'd say this is probably the smallest I would recommend for anybody new, but you can go bigger, you can make a bowl, you can make a placemat probably. I've never done that, but you know, just discs. When I was teaching the children over in Haiti, some of them only made discs because they found that easier, and it got a little bit too complicated when we were bringing the sides up. So, under, over, under, over, over. And like I said to you last week, you can introduce different colours into the same weave. So if you wanted a multicoloured basket, you can use different straws every time you attach them, or you can think about what colour these straws are compared to these ones. Or every time you go round, you might want to change the colour. There's lots of different ways of introducing the colour into your baskets. But it's coming quite solid now, which is where it should be. Which one's my thing? There. And push that in and keeping it tight. Right, don't get carried away. Make sure that your straws don't get too short again. And then grab some more. If anyone's struggling, let me know. Try and help you. Right, I'm going to snip these. I think it's just easier. I usually just leave them with the newspaper print, and I don't really ever paint them, but I thought it'd be quite nice to show you how you can do both. Okay. And the bit of glue, I don't think that's gone in far enough. No. Try the other end. I mean, how little supplies you need to make these baskets. Okay. That one doesn't want to cooperate either. Not doing very well here. Right. Thread that in. Got that a little bit shorter. Sometimes they don't like it, sometimes they do, so I was just patient. Try my best not to use glue. Just seems to work a little bit better that way. Give it a little twist and a wiggle. Put a bit of glue on that one. Doesn't want to work. Oh. Help if you take the lid off it. Just very roughly paint that a little bit. Okay. And then thread that through, like so. Sorry, just concentrating. Right, and then I'll give it a bit of a squeeze, make sure it's glued. Right, so again, always come back to, oh, where was I last? So this one was under, so it's got to go over, so that means it's got to go under and over. Very repetitive really, which is really nice. It's a bit like when you're knitting and things like that. It's very calming. But bearing in mind that this has been 20 minutes starting, we've managed to make this. This isn't bad at all, is it? It don't take me very long to make because of I've made a few, but so I'm just going round each one now individually. Being careful of my eyes along the way with these straws. But the more even these are spaced apart, the more even your weave will get. So this one's quite a big one, so just try and keep your eye on that at the same time when you're going round. It should work out quite well. It's amazing to think when I was teaching myself how to make these in the beginning, I just thought, oh, I'll just teach it when I went over to Haiti and that'd be that. But since then, I've taught it quite a few times. It's a bit easier in real life to show you and see whether you're struggling in something. But hopefully you can all just re-watch and see. So I'd say we might be ready to go upwards. Might do another, might make it a little bit bigger. I think we might have time. Just give it a bit of, make sure it's quite flat. Depends how you want it to be. If you want it to be flat, make it flat. If you want it to start doing this, then you can bring it up like that. I quite like the look of straight up sides. I think that's what I'm going to do this one again. I was helping my niece make these the other day, which was very nice. She's only 8, so hopefully that means But you'll all be able to do it as well. No matter what age you are, should be fine. Just straighten them off, like so. What happened to the lovely sunshine? That's what I want to know. It was so lovely, wasn't it? Was it? I think I had hay fever last week. I think it was from sunshine. Like, it'd be really sunny though, not this miserable weather we've got at the moment. But hopefully, someone tells me that it should be nice this weekend. I know it's only just been the weekend, but there we go. Push that one in like so. Once you've done it a few times, you have almost an instinct when something doesn't want to quite. Yeah, I think that's okay. Right, so careful again if you add in your straws, it can be a little bit. They get quite long, which makes it quite difficult. Right, under. Over. I'd love to see what colours and things people have made and whether they've made big or small pots or what you've used them for as well. That'd be nice to see. And again, you were all probably thinking, oh, this is going to be very difficult. But once it's getting to this bit. So when I mentioned earlier about having a base, what you could do is use some cardboard and do the circle base like so, and then attach your straws upwards like this onto that, and then do the same thing of in and out, in and out. Really simple. Just wanted to show you this way. I think we'll like to challenge ourselves, and we've all got, hopefully, well, I think we've all got a bit more time on our hands. Now everybody's starting to go back to work, school and things. Right, under. Oh no. See, even I get a bit confused every now and again which way I'm going. So, under. Over. So, remember earlier I showed you how many straws I'd made. So, this is how many I've got left. So, I've still got loads left. So, again, you don't need too many. It depends on the size. And like I said, if you're making it with just the newspaper like my original one, like this, then you don't really have to worry about making them all and then doing it. But with this, when you're painting them, you just need to make sure that they're dry before you use them, otherwise the damp doesn't weave very well and it just makes life difficult. No, it's meant to be fun, it's not meant to be difficult. Right. Ooh. They're about the right same size at the moment, the base. The next one I'm going to make, I might actually try and dye them the brown colour to see whether we can get it looking like wicker. But for people who are struggling to remember which ones you're weaving with and which ones you're going round, sometimes it can help if the original 8 that you cross over in that cross, if you make those a different colour. So say if I kept those white, like the newspaper, and then use this green, then yes, these might be white and you might see bits, but it adds to the pattern and it might make it a little bit easier so you don't get lost of, oh, which ones am I weaving and which ones am I not. So just think about these things. You never know, I always get carried away with time and think I've got loads of time, and then again, right, so I'm going to show you now how we start bringing it up. Look at these. Very accurate as always. Doesn't matter though, I just want to make sure that you realise how simple this is. Strange the other day, I looked back over this live and you don't realise how strong your accent is until you you listen to yourself. Right. Bit of a random conversation there from me. You get quite good at talking to yourself there. There we go. It's not going in very far, that one. Let's try this one. But if any of you are really struggling with this bit and attaching the new straws, bit of sellotape or masking tape if you're painting it afterwards, you can just wrap it round. I know you can see it, but it's really not the end of it. And there you go, simple. A lot of the children I've taught have used masking tape and sellotape before. Even make a point of it and use it like a coloured tape. Why not? Add to it. Sometimes it's when you try and hide the mistakes, it doesn't quite work. So I'll just show you again. So just a tiny bit of sellotape. Put that on. Wrap it round. Like so. Tough. It's no problem at all. Right. So I'm going to show you now how to bring your sides up. So what you want to do, I find it easier to bend your straws into the centre, like so. So they start coming up like this. So they're just literally lifting up the sides, bringing them round into the centre, like so. Right, so we have this. Obviously, this is very tall at the moment, but we don't need to worry about that. Right, so that one was over, under that. So always hard to pick it up and carry on. And then you just carry on weaving, but keeping these straws from the cross bit at the beginning up, right. So under, over. The first one is a little bit more fiddly. I wouldn't say it's hard. So under, over. Still sticking to your under then over, or over then under, whichever works better for you. Over. Lifting these up. So I'm literally doing the exact same thing, and it'll start bringing it up the sides. So under. Try and do it there so you can see a little bit easier. Go under. Over. And if when you're going over, so I'm going over this one here, you almost go under the next one automatically. So you can end up being quite quick at it. So it works out quite well. Getting a bit short, so I'm going to add another straw. Make sure I leave a good 5 minutes at the end to show you how we finish it off. Okay, spread that into the, pinch it a little bit, thread that into there. Good. And I can't see the sellotape, if I'm totally honest. Sellotape. Oh, it's covered around there somewhere. Doesn't matter, that's what I'm trying to let you know. I don't want you to worry about too much about the way this looks. I think it's all about the making than the final thing anyway. That's always, as an artist, it's been important to me, the whole making rather than the final piece. if any of you are struggling with these being quite long, you can cut them down a little bit now if that helps. It's up to you, but just realise that's going to be the height. Whatever you cut it down to, you can't go any taller than that. Well, you probably could, but I think it'd just be a little bit more hassle than it's worth. So just cut them with a little bit left on them. Over, keep on going round. Okay. And push them down. You know how we were pushing them into the centre? Push it down so then you've got a solid base. Like so. If any of you have got any projects using recycled materials at the moment, that would be a good way of using them, isn't it? So we're going to snip these. Careful with the scissors as always. I'm going to thread that through. Give it a bit of a pinch. So. But it's almost easier when you go upright because, like I said, it goes automatically to the next one. The angle that it does. Just have to concentrate. Remember which straws are the ones you're going around. I think that's what makes it easier, really, because you can see which straws are meant to be going round. Push them down, straws will meet. Round. Oh, got a bit short there, Grace. Always talking to yourself in the third person as well. Pinch that. That one's a bit sloppy at the end. So. And if you need to know how to make these straws in the beginning, you can see the previous video. I'll show you how. And like I said, as long as you've got a bit of consistency in your straws, whether they're thick or thin, or it should be okay. It's when you have some thick and some thin, they don't thread into each other. So that works. But again, if you're having problems threading it, just use a bit of sellotape. Wrap it down like so. You need a little bit. Might as well, why not? Not hurting anybody. And then carry on. Under and over. Over and under, if that's what you're doing. How to confuse you a little bit there. Right. So, I'm aware that time is going away with us. So I'm just going to quickly go around a couple more times and I'll show you how you finish it off. Over and under. Thanks for joining me today anyway. It's been hopefully useful for you and I've enjoyed making these. So I'm going to use these as my last straws to finish. You can be fussy and make sure that you've got it's worth it really. So 1, 2, 3, 4 rows. 1, 2, 3, 4. Make sure that it's just even throughout the whole thing. For some reason that side looks a bit shorter. Don't know why. Right. So once you've got to about there, give it a snip so they're both a similar length, and then you tuck them into a weave which you've already made. Wrap them round. Oh, careful. And wrap them round one of the weaves you've already made. Like so. So now we've got all these bits. Obviously, if you want to keep it like that, feel free. But you can then snip these down. Snip them quite short. Be careful, as always. And if you don't want to weave them back down, that's absolutely fine. You can just cut them down to the length if you really want to. Again, it's just up to you. What can you do? Give it a go first, and if you can't do it, snip it. Some of these are quite tough, so just be careful, and if you need help, obviously ask somebody. Don't want any injuries. They don't all have to be the exact same height either. So, have something that looks like this now. So now with these bits, we fold these in like so. Okay, so fold all of those round into the middle. Some of these are still too long, but we'll figure it out. Right. Just so they've got a, because they don't really like to be told what to do really, these straws. Don't sound silly. Right, so then it should look something like this. These bits then go round and tuck. I can't see what I'm doing. Tuck in on itself, like so. So push that down to the second one. And in on itself. They're just like you would with the weaving, then you just go under the next one. And for the bit where you've got the loose bit, make sure you go over that bit. Sometimes it'll just get carried away. Tuck that back in. And round we go. No pressure making something live on Facebook. Could have gone very wrong, but it's absolutely fine. This one, she says, no, I can't get in there. There we go. And push that in. And push it in. But now you're an expert weaver, you'll understand how to do this bit. Makes sense really. I'd love to be able to do, you know, when you see people weaving on looms and things, I think it's incredible. Some of the things, and some really colourful, beautiful wall art that you can make. I think this is quite a good start at figuring out how it's just literally in and out. All the way around. I think I've timed this to perfection. Oh, that one doesn't want to cooperate. Go. That's concentration face again, with lots of nice print screens of my face. Concentration in this video. because these ones are quite stiff for some reason. Okay. Nearly there. Push this one. If you're struggling as well, if you push from the outside inwards, you'll be able to, it'll help you be able to fit it round onto itself. Again, go. This one. Why is that not gone under? Sometimes, just as another option, you can go the other way if it doesn't want to go the other way. And can you believe it? We've got 30 seconds to spare. That's a lovely basket. And hopefully, would have liked it to be a bit taller. It should. Hopefully you've all been able to follow along, and if you have any questions, leave them in the comments below this video, and hopefully I'll be able to get back to you. I'll keep an eye on the comments. Alright, thank you everybody for watching, and hopefully you've all enjoyed making these today. Enjoy the rest of your day and the rest of your week, and hopefully you'll enjoy some different workshops by the end of the week as well. Thank you, bye!